So I had some wonderful students this week. All of them wanted to basically increase distance with every single club in their bag. But in doing so, all they did really was put more and more effort in, didn't hit the ball further, and if anything, started to lose control of their strike and obviously their direction. The reason being, every single one of them was falling for the same fault I see over and over again. Good players don't do this. Good players getting to a position in their downswing that makes hitting the ball longer easy, but more importantly, effortless. All I did with every one of them was help them get into this place so that they too could rapidly increase their distance with what they felt at the end was a much slower and more effortless swing. I'm going to share with you exactly what we did because I just know it's going to help you. Now, before I get into the video, look, if you're new to the channel, so you're your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus, you never have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free downloaded practice guide in the description box below. So what I'm about to share with you works with every single club in your golf bag and is the most important thing to create effortless power with what feels like a really slow golf swing. So we're going to start with the irons and we're going to move up to driver. So I want you to remember, where do you play golf? You play golf with the ball out in front of you here, right? Now that's really important to be aware of because look, if we played golf with a ball in between our legs, your swing to create an efficient shot would have to go straight up like this, straight down and straight up again. The circle of the swing would look very, very vertical, okay? If we played baseball, where we're not here anymore, but we're actually out in front, for you to create the most efficient and effortless movement, your circle would look much more like this, much more around the body. That's how you're going to generate the most efficient amount of power and consistency, okay? But golf, we don't play the ball here, we don't play it in between our legs. We play it out in front of us. Now, if you look at roughly the shaft angle here, now, I want you to imagine roughly about a 45-degree circle. It's not a 45, it can vary, it can be 50, but this is just a kind of outline. The best players, the players that make the golf swing look effortless, and this is really key, is this. When they swing down, okay, when they're swinging down, this club here is at a roughly 45-degree angle. Look where my hands are here. My hands are here and the club is behind my hands, okay? What this allows them to do is it allows the body to beautifully simply just turn down onto this golf ball here, all together, and work the club effortlessly and naturally through the impact area, okay? There's no compensations. It's the simplest and easiest thing in the world to do, okay? But nearly every single amateur that comes to see me for golf lessons never achieves this. Instead, what happens is this. The club isn't attacking like this. The club is much, much more like this as it's coming down. It's too steep. Now, the problem is this. Can your body beautifully rotate? Well, it could, but now when it rotates, it's going to send the club way left. This gets you're hitting the golf ball and you create these chicken wings to try and stop the ball going left. So everything starts to look awkward. You then get the players who realize they don't want to go left, and they, slightly better players, then they'll try to reroute it back to somewhere here, but suddenly now the body's working really hard to get it back into this position, then they try and hit it from there. Again, it's not effortless, it's really inconsistent, and it's not what we want, right? So I want to show you now how you can start to get this position on the way down effortlessly and easily every single time. So there are just 3 steps I would love you to follow to try and achieve this every single time. So the first fault I'm seeing involves the backswing, okay? And I've seen this, I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 golfers I coach do this. So the chances of you doing it are pretty high, okay? And it's simply this. Look at where my hands are here. My hands are here and the club is what we call outside the hands. Now what I see all of the time with golfers is this. They quickly roll their forearms inwards. So the club now goes very quickly behind you. The problem now is this. What do you notice about the shaft? It's very, very horizontal. It's no longer on this kind of like 45-degree angle. It gets very horizontal early. Now, if it's horizontal early, are we playing baseball? No, we're not. We're playing with a ball that's on the ground. So the problem now, you've created a pattern that looks like this. Gets horizontal early, and then right towards the top, maybe this elbow starts to stick out, you start to steepen on the way down, we then start to chop, there's your chicken wing, okay, not effortless at all. Or what happens with some players, they realize that's wrong, so now they start to move their body in a place to try and get back on the rails as such. And again, you might hit some good ones, very inconsistent, but it's certainly not effortless, all right? So instead, we don't want this pattern where we go shallow to steep, or another way of looking at it would be club head inside, then outside. What we want to create for you is this. I want you to create a club that stays outside on the way back and then starts to move inside, okay? Now the simplest way to do this is to stop rolling early on. Try to get the club, in a sense, working more like this. Now, I've got 2 drills for you to achieve this, and they're both incredibly simple. So what I'll do is I'll grab, not every drill works for everyone, so start with this one first. It's pretty simple. Put a ball behind the target ball here, and all I want you to do is this. If you roll your wrists, what's going to happen as you do this? You're going to roll it and the ball will go behind you here. Okay, this is you when you're rolling it too early. What I want you to do instead is get that ball rolling straight back here. So you get yourself set, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to hit a golf ball, I'm going to get the ball, look, rolling straight back. Okay? Now as you're doing this, you can see here, look, my hands are staying here on this line while the club is there. So what, if anything, what you're doing, the club will go, if anything, steeper on the way back as an exaggeration to allow you to get shallower and more on the rails on the way down. So it's the reverse of what you're doing. One, this is wrong. This would be an opposite and would be much more desirable to get you into the effortless position. But it's too difficult to think about. So you get yourself set, let's grab another ball. And all I'm going to do is put a ball straight behind this one here. Let's hit a shot, and all I'm going to do is focus on pushing that ball straight back here. Another exercise I've seen or heard John Nicholas talk about many, many years ago, because he had this problem, is imagine almost like you've got a razor blade fence here. If you allow the forearms to roll, what do you notice about my hands? They're rolling into the razor blade fence, okay? Here, razor blade fence, avoid it as much as you can. Why do people do this? Because it keeps the club outside the hands. It gets you steeper, if anything, on the way back, allowing the pattern to naturally do this on the way down, okay? So let's have a look at this in action. Okay, nice and simple. And that's going to give me, look, effortless speed. Look how far that's gone, 164 yards with an 8-iron, 87.5 in terms of clubhead speed. So this here, all we're trying to change with the backswing motion is simply changing your pattern. If you roll early, you've already set the pattern to go steep. Almost impossible to get rid of that, okay? We've got to, if anything, keep the clubhead outside the hand so you have a steeper pattern on the way back here. So I don't necessarily want you to try and mess about doing all fancy stuff here. It just increases the likelihood that now you're going to be shallower, okay? Really, really important. So let's start with that. Do nothing more. Just really improve the quality of that move away, and that already will start to get you into a better place at the top. Then what we do is we work on the downswing phase. So my students absolutely love this phase because it feels so effortless and so natural. So here's how we get them to it. So once they've kind of got established in the backswing, they've got a much better pattern on the way back. Only then, by the way, do we then start working on phase number 2, which is ultimately, well, what is it supposed to feel like? How do you get into that position naturally on the way down? So here's what I want you to do. If you do this with me now, it'd be absolutely brilliant. Hold the club out in front of you here, and I want you to imagine just for a second, we are going to play a bit of baseball, okay? So what I'm going to do is I want you to put the hands like this. So the trail elbow is underneath the lead arm like this, okay? Now this is a position, a kind of a look that you'll see, which is required to create, look, this kind of pattern. If, look, the trail arm is level or on top, look what this does to the shaft. It steepens it. Now we're in trouble, right? So all I want you to do is just basically hold the club out in front of you, put the trail elbow naturally below your lead elbow, and you know what? Just imagine this is what you would do if you were just, look, tossing this club out into the field, out into the distance, okay? You wouldn't go like this, you would simply toss it through. Now, I want you first of all to make some movements just doing that. You'll notice when I do this, by the way, where my club face is wide open. I'm going to come to that in a second because it's really, really vital. But just for now, I want you to develop the feel of an effortless motion as if you're tossing this club, look, out into the field where the trail elbow is underneath, look. I'm not out here like this. I'm tossing it. I'm just simply tossing it through here. When you do this, what do you notice about my body? There it's underneath. My body naturally works forward. I'm getting all the things that create the effortless move that allows you to swing smoothly and coordinately. That's all I want you to do. Set it up here, feel it here first. Yeah, 1, 2, then move it down, underneath. Make some swings, okay? Now, get that sensation. It's super, super simple, and it is completely and utterly effortless. But there's one thing. If you try to hit a golf ball like that right now, it's not going to work, okay? And this is, people have been given the throwing ball exercise for years and they haven't been able to make it work, and this is the reason why. Watch this. If we just do this, and I do this, where's my club face? It's completely and utterly wide open. Do you know what? If you're playing baseball, it's probably fine. Why? Because you've got a round bat. But in golf, we need to somehow learn how to square this face. So here's how we're going to develop this together. Hold the club out in front of you here. Set it so the trail elbow's underneath. Now we're going to educate you here how to square the face. It is unbelievably simple, but it's brilliant. Make some turns, okay? From here. Feel that motion. Turn back. Here, not just with your arms, we're going to turn back and we're going to fire through. Now, all I'm going to do here is this. I'm not going to flick my wrists to square it like this is weak. All I'm going to do, can you see what I do here? What have I done to square the face? Can you see this? All I've done is allowed my forearms to turn back down here in front of me. This is all I'm doing, yeah? Now, what do you notice about my trail arm? My trail arm now is more on top, my left arm is more underneath, because I'm now moving into this phase of the swing where the trail arm goes over the top and the left arm now works underneath. Does that make sense? Yeah? So here now, we're doing this. We're working back and over, okay? So it looks like this. We're here, we're under, and now what we're going to practice is, look, we're going to practice how you're going to simply just turn, or what I like to call tip the club down back into impact here. Makes sense? So we're throw, there's your throw. So you practice feel like that. It's absolutely fine to practice this with a wide open fist. Get that sensation. Then start to bit by bit look. That's, if you just, all you did was phase 1 and 2, ignoring the face for now, this would be brilliant for you. I promise you, it would train so much better body movements. The final piece, of course, in the jigsaw is club face. Club face is king. Now all we're going to do is we're going to work out how do we square the fist. Do we do this? No, of course we don't. All we do is we take this structure, look, and all I'm doing is turning it down. So my arms are working back into towards my body here. My arms are now no longer in this under and over. Then I'm leveling up. And then look, my left arm's sitting down. My right arm is now moving on top. It's super, super simple. Work it. Square the face up. I'm under, online, I can just turn beautifully, look, onto that shot. This creates the effortless move. Okay, simple as that. You start off, look how consistent that is. You start off little bit at a time. Nail the pattern first. Understand nearly every single person's pattern is a roll in and over. You're going to change that in the backswing by really exaggerating. Even if you have to exaggerate steepness here, again, your body's not going to want to stay there, so what's it going to do? It's going to want to shallow later here, giving you a chance to get into this place, okay? This 45-degree arc. Once you've done that, then just imagine throwing, okay? You might be left-handed playing golf right-handed. Use a frisbee to do the same type of principle here. It doesn't matter. The key is, look, learn the sensations. Underneath, throw. Feel the face is open to start with. I don't care. That's absolutely fine. But then learn to then turn it down. Turning it down to the golf ball to square look. Not a flick. I'm turning the whole forearms back down to that golf ball in this motion. That's how you swing slower, create effortless power, and I promise you, it's just natural. It's just really natural, and this is exactly the feedback that I got from my students. But nail step 1 first, really, really important. Without step 1, the other 2 don't work whatsoever. So do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with one of your friends, and of course, look, if you're new to the channel, press that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll always put a free download practice guide in the description box below. If you need more help understanding how to square this face up efficiently, by the way, check this video out right here. It's a belter. Until next time, have a great golfing week.